We cannot hear.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear.
Okay, sorry for the lag. Hello and welcome again um, to our very first research event of Normer, which is an introduction into writing research papers. It's very awesome actually to have a lot of enthusiastic people here, all of the medical community, because we're all in the beginning of our careers and we would love to learn from experienced people such as Betül Rana Çelik about how to write proper medical papers. Now, I'm Mariam Hamam, and I'm a first year medical student at the University of Health Sciences, and I will have the pleasure of presenting Betül Rana Çelik. Betül Rana Çelik is a third year medical student at Marmara University, and she has participated before in writing papers, research papers on the topics of neuroscience. She also has completed TÜBİTAK project, 2209A project, I should mention. Also supported by TÜBİTAK STOR, she took part in research as an intern at the University of Health Sciences. She continues her research process at Marmara University and is the head of the Alzheimer's disease research group at Normer. Betül Rana, welcome. We are very happy to learn more about writing from you. You can take over.
Thank you so much, Mariam. It's very nice to be here. Hello, everyone. I hope you are fine. Welcome to Noramar's first webinar. It's really exciting. As Mariam mentioned, I'm Betül Rana Çelik. I'm third year medical student at Marmara University and head of Alzheimer's disease research team in Noramar. As research teams, we want to do research and write research articles. First things first, we should learn how to write research papers. In accordance with this purpose, in these 2 days, we would like to talk to you about how to write a research paper, the research briefly. I present first day, and my dear friend Omar Al-Omari from University of Health Sciences is going to present second day. First day will be more like basic. It's more suitable for medical students, but anyone who is on the path of science can also listen the first day. As a third year medical student, of course, I do not have lots of research papers. However, I have worked with Dr. Enes Akyüz for 1 year, and thanks to him, I have written some research papers with my friends. I'm currently in a research process at my school and also involved in Normer. Today, I want to share my experience with you. At the end of the presentation, you can ask your questions on chat. Now, I want to share my screen with you. Please wait a minute. Yeah, I guess you can see my screen. Yeah, that's great. Please wait a minute. I did not use a meeting in Google Meets before, so I'm trying to pass the presentation. Kerem Korkmaz asked, will you be sharing the slides later? Actually, we will share the video, so you can access these slides from the video also. Can you see outline now?
Yeah, totally fine.
That's great. First, I will talk about resources for finding research papers to read. strategies for effective reading of research paper. Then I will talk about finding a mentor in med school and formulating hypotheses, ethical considerations in medical research, and I will talk about overview of the scientific research process. Then I will mention structuring the research paper. After that, I will show some figures and tables applications. And finally, I will talk about guidelines for authors. Resources for finding research papers to read. Finding articles is first step for research. To formulate a new hypothesis and to do research, we must know our subject very well. For this, we need to read up-to-date articles. First resource for finding research papers is Google. All of you know Google, of course. However, for effective research, effective search, you should Google your keywords plus research article plus a good journal's name. For example, our keywords are Alzheimer's disease plus CSF biomarkers, and we add research article and a good journal like Nature. Then we Google it. Google gives us lots of research. If you know journals, you can access research papers that are related to your topic. Second resource is PubMed. It is a very extensive database. You can access almost all articles in medicine. Like Google, you can search keywords of your research topic. The problem is you cannot download articles. However, you can reach the website of the article, so you can download from website. Third resource is Science Direct. It's very quality database, but the problem is you cannot reach to all articles in this website. Just Elsevier articles can be found here. Again, you can search your keywords. Good site, you can download some articles like this article. If the article is open access, you can download it from the website. And also you can access some articles through your institution, like Marmara University or your school. And fourth resource is ResearchGate. I think all researchers should have ResearchGate account because it's a platform for scientists. We can share our articles, we can follow professors who work on our research area. It's an easy and good way to communicate with other scientists. You could download some articles directly on website if the author uploaded the article, like this article. Or you can request full text from author. For example, I was asked a full text from the author, and thankfully she sent. You can download the article in this way. And fifth resource is Sci-Hub. It's an illegal, yeah, it's an illegal but student-friendly website because accessing articles without open access option is quite expensive. Sci-Hub is easy to use. All articles have a DOI number, which is like an ID number. You can find this number from articles website. You should copy the number, the DOI number, and paste it to Sci-Hub. When you open it, you will access the article. You can download the article from Sci-Hub. The last resource is requesting the article from corresponding author. That is a mail structure example to request article from corresponding author. You can find the email from articles websites, email of corresponding authors, because sometimes we cannot find like recent articles in Sci-Hub. so we can request from corresponding author directly. When choosing an article to read, you should make sure that the article is up to date and published in a good journal. There are two marks that indicate quality of the journal. First, impact factor of journal. You can find impact factor, sorry, for my phone. You can find impact factor via Google. And second mark is the quartile. You can find this value from shimagojr.com. You should search journal's name, and when you open the page of the journal, you will see the quartile. There are four values. Q1 is the best, and Q4, let's say, is the worst. Unless it is a very important article, you should generally read Q1 and Q2 journals. If you cannot find the journal on the site, it indicates that the journal is in a different index. Again, if it is not an important article, you should not choose to read it. And I will continue with strategies for effective reading of research paper. You found your article to read. Now you should read it and effectively to manage your time well and to learn better. First, you should understand the title very well. You must know all the terms of title. After the title, you should first read the abstract in detail. You should search terms that you don't know. In this way, you will be understood most of the article's purpose and article's meaning. After the abstract, it will be useful to read the conclusion part, which is located at the end of the article, right after the discussion. It's a summary of the study. At the end, you can read the important parts for you in the main body of the article. Like if you want to learn more about the subject, you can read introduction, or you search. If you search some methods, you can read methods in detail. And actually, for effective reading, you should take notes while reading the article. It's important for preparing a literature review and formulate hypotheses. You can use a Word document to take notes, so you can access your notes later. Actually, one of the important part for effective reading is you should take a look at figures and graphics. Figures and graphics sum up the results, so they are really important. Also, you can use some figure or graphic idea from some articles. And in addition to taking notes while reading the article, it's important to ask questions. This helps you both learn the subject better and formulate new hypotheses. Also, Q&A is very motivating for a researcher. For example, that's a mail structure to ask questions to corresponding author. You can find the email of corresponding author in the article. That was the answer of David Knopmans. And finding a mentor in med school. Getting support from a professor is very important in medical school and university. Even the famous psychologist Doğan Cüceloğlu mentions in his book how important it's for a young individual to have a mentor. If you want to do research in medical school, it will be beneficial in every sense to get support from a mentor. First of all, you should choose your mentor from your school. This will facilitate your communication and access to the professor. You can search on your school's website. When you find the names, you can search works of professors via Google Scholar and ResearchGate. You can read professors' latest research, and you can meet with him or her face to face. You can send a mail too, but face-to-face communication is better because some of professors do not look emails so much. An important note: be careful not to have a mentor meeting with more than one professor at the same time. Eventually, you may not have a mentor because it's like a rule, you know. You should meet with a mentor in one time. So once you find your mentor, it will be easier to come up with new ideas and new hypotheses. If you are going to do research with your mentor, you should formulate a hypothesis with his or her topic, because you will be working with his or her research materials. First of all, you should know the subject well. For this, you should read the review article. This gives us a lot of information about diseases and research topics. You should also read current research articles to formulate hypotheses. Asking questions at this step will help you. You can ask questions to your professor or to corresponding authors via email. You should work with creative and hardworking students. It will be helpful for brainstorming and motivation. And ethical considerations in medical research. This is perhaps the most important issue in medical research. After determining your research topic, it's time to get approval from the ethics committee. Ethics committee approval is required in medical research, whether you are conducting a survey, a clinical trial, or an animal experiment. If you are not going to work with a human or animal cell, or if you are going to work with invertebrate animals, ethics committee approval is not required for this kind of studies. If you are going to be involved in your mentor's research, or if you will use his or her animals, you do not need another ethics committee approval, because they already have these approvals. And you need to get ethics committee approval from the university where you will do the research. How to make this application is right on the websites of the universities. Most of the time, you need to prepare an ethics committee approval document. This document also varies from university to university. You can find this document from your university's website. When the research is approved by the ethics committee, a confirmation email will be sent to your mentor. After this step, you can start your research. But before ethical approval, you cannot take a step. And in addition, there is another issue that I will briefly mention about ethics. The names of researchers are included in the ethics committee documents. If a researcher is leaving the research, they must sign a waiver notice. This document means that the researcher terminates all rights over the research. It's important for ethical issues. In this slide, you see an ethical committee approval from my university. That's my own document. And overview of the scientific research process. When you determine your research topic and get your ethics committee approval, it is time for the research part. Your mentor determines the steps of the research. If you participated in her or his research as a student, she or he will give you tasks, and you can learn some methods in these studies. For example, here is a photo of me learning Western bloods. If you are doing your own research with the support of your mentor, it makes sense to stick to one project while doing your research. For this, you need to write a project proposal and send it to institutions such as TÜBİTAK and TÜSEP. When your project is supported by such institutions, you will get financial support for your research, and the support of these institutions will make your research more prominent. Such institutions receive project proposals on certain dates. You can follow these dates on the websites of TÜBİTAK and TÜSEP. Of course, these institutions are from Turkey. You can search institutions that support students in your country and in your school. If you know institutions like TÜBİTAK and TÜSEP, you can write on chat now. So you can share with others. The important issue for research is to show how eager and hardworking you are to your mentor. Of course, science is not a show, but professors will be more willing to work with you if you show your motivation. In addition, the main purpose of your participation in research as a student is to learn. For this, your eyes must be open. You must constantly observe more, ask more, and read more. You should try to do the tasks given to you in the research in best way possible. So, structuring the research paper. When you have completed your research and obtained the data, it's time to write. I learned how to write articles from Dr. Enes Akyüz. I also use his method. The method is an easy and efficient way to write articles for a student. I will tell you about this method. Of course, you can develop your own methods over time, or you can learn your mentor's writing style. The structure of research papers is mostly like title, authors, abstract, introduction, materials and methods, results, discussion, and conclusion, respectively. The order of these sections may vary from journal to journal, but the main structure is like that. And first step is to determine the title. In the title of a medical study, you can include the disease, the molecule investigated in the disease, and the main result. For example, this is a very important article published in Nature. The title of the article shows most significant result of the study. It shows the disease, Alzheimer's disease, molecule that investigated in this research, aducanumab, and the effect of the molecule. It reduces A beta plaques in Alzheimer's disease. If you are writing the article of a survey study, actually you can conduct lots of survey study when you are a medical student. You can choose the purpose of the study as the title. For example, you measure the epilepsy knowledge of medical students. So basically, you can create a title like Measuring the Epilepsy Knowledge of Medical Students in Turkey. In the structure of the article, abstract comes immediately after the title, but it makes sense. It makes much more sense to write abstract as a summary of the article at the end. So we will talk about this part later, abstract part. So, introduction part. Actually, I want to share a research paper with you. Please wait a minute. Can you see the article? I guess yes. As I told, the title, this part, authors, and abstract, and then there is introduction part. We start writing the article with the introduction. The introduction part of the article is to tell the reader about the subject and our research purpose. After reading this part, even someone who is not a professional should have an idea. For this, we must first explain the title, and in the last paragraph, we should write our research purpose and what we have done in the study. To write these parts, we need to divide the title into elements. The molecule we're investigating, our research result, the disease we're investigating, for example, for a medical research. We should write in the first paragraph, we should explain the disease because it's our broadest keyword and it's where it all started. We should write the paragraph entirely by citing other articles in introduction because we give information about the subject and we cannot write it from our head. Since we provide information about the disease in this paragraph, we should cite review articles because review articles are the sources that teach the subject. You can reach the review articles by using the resource I mentioned at the beginning. You should also look at the quality of the journal when deciding which articles to cite in your article. You should cite high impact and Q1 or Q2 journals because the quality of the references also determines the quality of your article. When you find a good review article, you can cite the abstract and conclusion part of the article. You cannot cite other parts of the review article because they are cited from other articles. And that's a research article, so I cannot show right now, but I want to share a review article. Please wait a minute. Yeah. So that's a review article, as it writes at the end of the paper. When you like to cite other parts, you should go to the citation for that sentence in the review article and cite it. For example, you found this review article and you liked this information, but it's not from abstract and conclusion. So you should go these citations like fifth and sixth citations, and you should read these articles abstract and conclusion part, and you can cite these articles. But if you want to cite these review article, you should take your information from abstract or conclusion part, and it will be the last paragraph of the review article, the conclusion part. So I will continue with research paper. Yeah, here we are. When you find a good information for your article in the abstract and conclusion sections, you can never copy paste. This is outright theft. You should read the abstract and conclusion parts and write the information in your article with your own words. The sentence you write in your article cannot be more than 80% similar to the sentence in the article you are citing. If your sentence in your article is more than 80% similar, it's plagiarism, which means theft again. Of course, after writing the sentence in your own words, you have to refer to the article you cited at the end of the sentence. This indicates that you got the information from that article. It was about how you gathered information for this introduction part. And in first paragraph, we explain the disease, as I mentioned. We can use 3 or 4 articles in this part. Don't forget, we use review articles. In second paragraph, we explain the molecule or drug that we study. We use same method. Find review articles, read, take information, cite. Again, we can write this paragraph with 3 or 4 articles. Third paragraph of introduction part will be like a literature review. In this paragraph, we show studies that have been done in the past, similar and different to our study. For this, we cite research articles because we give example from scientific literature. When citing a research article, you should write a sentence from the abstract part. Again, you cannot copy paste. You must use your own words. When citing a research article, it will be sufficient to take 3 sentences from the abstract of the article. The first is a sentence that tells the purpose of the research and how it was done. For this, it will usually be sufficient to create a sentence similar to the title of the article that we cite. The second sentence should be the most important result of the research. You should refer to the article you received immediately after this result because it will be like a summary of the study. The third sentence should have a similar meaning to the last sentence of the abstract, which states the importance of the research. So you summarize the research with these 3 sentences. It would also be a good literature review for the introduction part of the article. It will be enough to use 3 or 4 articles in this paragraph for introduction part. In the research article, the last paragraph of the introduction tells our purpose in the research and what we have done in the research, like this part. Sorry. You can write 3 or 4 sentences in this part. You should not cite any articles in this paragraph. Just write what you have done. And if we briefly summarize the introduction part, we first give information about the research with the review articles. Then write the literature summary with the research articles and write what we did in our research at the end. Actually, citations, I want to mention about citations also in this part. After, for example, citing the review article, you can put a number at the end of the sentence for the citation. Open the references heading at the very end of the file. Because when you write your article, first you create a manuscript, which means the very first structure of your article. And at the end of this manuscript, you can open a reference part, and you can write the citation information of articles in this part. Citation information includes authors, name of the article, name of the journal, publishing year, and some publication information. You can write the name of the article to PubMed to access the citation information of the articles. When you open the article from PubMed, PubMed will give you different citation formats, such as APA or AMA. If you have chosen the journal in which you will publish the research, you can choose the reference format accordingly. But if you did not choose your journal, you can choose, for example, APA format, and you can organize it at the end when you prepare your manuscript to publish or to submit to a journal. I will talk about this later. So, introduction part was like that. Material methods. In this article, material and methods is at the end of the article, but most journals it will be after the introduction part. In this section, we give place to materials and methods we used in the research. Since this meeting is at the level of medical students, I will not explain this part in detail because when we complete the research with a mentor, materials and methods are usually written by the mentor. If you are writing a project, you can also use the methods of your project, which was written by your mentor. But there are two things you should pay attention in this part. First, you must state that you have received ethics committee approval. And second, you should include the number of samples included in the research. Maybe you studied with patients, maybe with students, maybe with animals. You should write a number of samples because it's very important for readers. And the last paragraph of method would be statistical analysis, which is also written by our mentors. So you can use their statistical analysis in this part. And result part. In the result part, Wait a minute, I will open it. In this article, the result starts from here. In the result part, we write the results we obtained in the research without giving any comments or references. Here is what we observed directly. We only write what we get actually. We do not add any comments or references. We use our significant and insignificant results in this part, but we do not write it's significant, it's not significant. We just write what we get. What is important in this section is that we indicate the figures, graphics, and tables next to the relevant result. For example, in this result, we see this citation, table 1. When we click it, it shows table 1 in this article. You should write this information in your manuscript also. And the discussion part, I will continue with discussion part. In this section, we discuss the results of our research and previous studies. Thus, we can see the place of our results in the world of science. We also realize how important these results are. So this part is quite important. We should write our most significant result in the first paragraph. In the continuation of our result, we should cite studies that have similar or different results to our result. Here, we can include any important research related to our result. You can cite the research articles that you will use in the discussion section, like the introduction, 3 sentences from the abstract, basically. In the paragraphs that follow this first paragraph of discussion, we should write our other results with other articles, similar to the first paragraph. The important thing in the discussion section is that the articles we will cite should be high quality and up to date. In general, articles published in recent years should be preferred because it would be more useful for us and also for scientific literature. And let's say we wrote the discussion part, and after discussion we should write conclusion part. Let's see. There is no title like conclusion in this article. It's change journal to journal, but you can find conclusion at the end of the discussion, or you can find conclusion as a different part at the end of the article. In the conclusion part, actually we summarize our research. The most significant result of our research, its contribution to the literature, and how hypotheses can be formulated in the future based on this research are right in here. We summarize all our data in this part. And after this part, actually we finished all parts, but at the end of the this manuscript, you should write abstract part. Abstract, actually, it would be like a summary of all sections, like introduction, conclusion, and all the parts. I want to share my presentation with you. Please wait a minute. Yeah, here. So basically, abstract contains sorry. Yeah. Abstract contains mainly 4 parts: background, methods, results, conclusion. For example, in this journal, we see also objective, but you can think it like the end part of the background. Background, you should explain the research subjects in background with like 3 or 4 sentences. You can take these sentences from introduction. We do not cite at these parts. We do not cite in abstract. We just write what we have. You can take this like information from introduction that you have written from review articles. But as I told, you do not have to cite this information. And you should write the aim of the study with 1 sentence at the end of the background. For example, in this abstract, they call it objective, but you do not have to do that if your journal didn't say that. Then you should write most important methods in the method part with 1 or 2 sentences. You can take it from methods, which was written by your mentor. In results part, you should write most significant data of your study. You can write 3 or 4 sentences. It is very important, this part, because most of the researchers will read this summary, this abstract. So you should write the most significant data of your study. In conclusion part, at the end of the abstract, you should write significance of your research with 1 or 2 sentences. This section can set a path for future research. It would be helpful for to create new hypotheses. After abstract, you will see keywords. In this part, you can create keywords related to your title and your subject. Most of the journals want nearly 5 keywords. It depends on journal again. So after you write abstract, introduction, materials, methods, results, and discussion, actually there is some parts which are not so important for information part, but which are important for ethical and financial issues, like funding, acknowledgements, conflict of interests, and author contributions. But first, I want to explain limitation. Limitation is the deficiencies and limitations of the research, like limitations of the research are given in this section, limitation part. For example, if the number of samples in our research is small, we can write this as a limitation. Or if generalization cannot be made as a result of our research, we can write this down as well to the limitation part. And acknowledgement, there are some examples for this. In this section, all contributions made to the article other than the authors are written. For example, financial contributions are written here. In addition, people and institutions that helped in the article or research are thanked in this section. For example, the patients who participated in the study are thanked here as a courtesy. And funding. In the funding section, institutions that provide financial support to the research are written. For example, if you have received support from TÜBİTAK in your research, you indicate it in this section, funding section. Conflict of interest. In the conflict of interest section, it is stated whether there is any conflict of interest between the research coordinators and authors. This is more about entitlement to research and the ethical part. Author contributions. In this section, each author's contribution to the article is written. For example, manuscripts preparation, research editing, figure preparation, and etc. Acknowledgement, funding, conflict of interest, and author contributions are not all included in every journal. Which ones you should include are indicated on the page of the journal. We will talk about this in a moment. So one of the important part for a manuscript is figures and tables. You can produce figures related to your research with biorender.com. It's a website that you can create your figures, but the figures and the pictures in this website are for, I guess, biology students and also biology researchers. Like in medicine, you can also use this website. The figures you will prepare from this website will be more summative and innovative. You can produce your figures for free on this site. That's important, and it's also very easy to use, and it's also very quality website. You just must sign up to reach it for free. That's how it looks. For example, there are some elements like these figures. These were my figures. And you can chart your most important research results with Excel. These charts are very useful, actually. It looks like simple and like not very quality, but they are very useful, especially for a student. If you know a different figure or graphic source from other than from these two sources, you can write to the chat. We can discuss at the end of the presentation. So the last part, guidelines for authors. I will start with the title page. For this, I want to share an article with you. Yeah, here. Under the title, we write authors, and as you see, there's a order for authors, but your mentor will determine the order of the authors. The order is not an issue for a medical student. We put numbers next to each author in the order. For example, in this part, they wrote the author and they put a number next to it. And if authors are from same institutions, we use same number as well. And after these author names, we write all institutions like this way. Like first institution is this and second is this, for example, like that. And there's a corresponding author for the articles. This person is the person who mentored the research. In the articles, you will write the corresponding author. Actually, in your articles, the corresponding author will be your mentors, and this is indicated by placing a sign next to the corresponding author for editors, for giving information to editors, like a star. You can put a star next to the corresponding author's name in your manuscript, and you can indicate this to the editor by placing a star below the affiliations and typing the corresponding author's information. In this part, we cannot see, but you can write the corresponding author's name and his institutions, and also you can write his or her email in this part. That's for information. That's information for editors. Actually, the other guidelines. I want to share my presentation again. Yeah. As I told, manuscript is the Word file we send to the journal. Manuscripts are usually written in 12-point font Times New Roman. You can access this information from the guide for authors part on the journal's website, like these journals website. Actually, you can also access the citation format used in the journal from this guideline, because there are different kinds of formats for reference style. For example, APA, AMA, or maybe a special type for journal. Guidelines will show you the format. You can organize citations with EndNote. It's a application. Or if you do not have lots of citations, you can organize them manually. Before submitting your article to the journal, you should carefully read the guidelines for author. Articles that are not prepared in the structure requested by the editor are definitely eliminated. And actually, these were all I want to say tonight. I hope the meeting was helpful for you. Tomorrow, Omar will talk about collecting and analyzing data, revision, and journal publication process. I recommend that you attend this meeting as well. You can ask your questions on chat, or you can send your questions to my. You can ask your questions via Gmail. Many thanks for your participation, and thank you for your patience. Okay, I see some questions. I will open the video. Yeah. Kerem Korkmaz said, will you be sharing the slides later? We can share actually if you want. Or you can write me if you want to reach the slides. I'm writing my Gmail. You can write me for each the for each the presentation. And can the Hamza Imad said, can the TÜBİTAK support the projects for the international students in Turkey? Yeah, exactly. Just TÜBİTAK STAR program does not support international students, but TÜBİTAK like 2209 projects for students supports international students also. Katalin asked, is the meeting tomorrow at the same time? Yeah, exactly. And thank you for your message. And if you have any question, you can write. And you can write to me whenever you want. That's my email. So I think that was it. Thank you for your participation. We can finish the meeting. See you later. I hope you can all write lots of research papers. You can ask me whenever you want, or we can search something together. See you later.